All right, now that we have Unreal installed, and if you have any difficulty with installing Unreal, let me know and we can meet up and I can help you out. You might have some issues if you have a very, very old computer. It doesn't run on Chromebook, and overall, just you need a little bit more of a powerful machine. If that's the case for you, or you have a lot older machine, I'm going to try to create a second lecture that is for this class that just uses the Unity game engine, which is a little bit lighter weight. Um, but overall, just stick around in Unreal if you have a more powerful computer for now, because that's really the industry standard for virtual production, especially if you're a filmmaker and you want to do all the cool stuff ILM is doing. Anyway, let's jump into this a little less talking. Go ahead and click on Launch Unreal Engine. And this opened up our Unreal project browser. Now, the thing here is I don't have any projects here yet, and you could see that there's all these really cool tabs on the side: games, film, video, live events, architecture, automotive. There's something that people sort of fail to realize, and that's that these are all the same except for plugins. So right now we're just going to focus on gaming, but overall, this game project here maps perfectly to VR, AR, handheld AR. Even if you click on film video, all this does is this helps you sync up if you have a digital camera that you want to map inside of our project. Right now, we're talking about building virtual worlds. And so we're going to build a project, go to games, and we're going to build a first person project. Now, the interesting thing about this is inside of this first person project, we can map this or connect this to a VR headset, and it comes almost out of the box with this working. We just have to do a few little blueprint changes. So for this, go ahead and do that. And then for the project name, just go ahead and rename this world building. And that's your project name. Now you can see it says project names may not contain spaces. So I'm just going to go hit back, or you can put an underscore underneath. And take note of the location, Documents, Unreal Projects. All right, so once that's set up, select Blueprints. We do want the starter contents here. I don't think you should click on ray tracing if your computer is a little bit older. So real-time ray tracing gives you much, much better results. I have a more powerful machine, so I'm going to check that on. But again, if you have an older MacBook or PC, do not turn on ray tracing. We could turn it off inside the editor as well. All right, with that said, go ahead and click on the Create button. All right, so with this said, let's talk a little bit about the interface here. And probably took you quite a while to get this up and running. It took me quite a while. So just a couple things. This is our main interface where we can move around. If I hold Alt and my left mouse button, I can pan. If I click my left mouse button, you can see that it does this left to right motion. If I scroll my wheel in and out, it zooms. If I click the wheel on my mouse, I can pan. So I just scrolled out and then I panned. If I hold my right mouse button, you can see it gives me the same sort of rotation as holding Alt and left. It's just less granular. Now, I'm not a big fan of spending a ton of time at the beginning of working on the interface because we're going to be in here so much, and I'm going to be as granular as possible. So for instance, like every time I select something and zoom in, I'll probably say press F to zoom in, you know. Or if I'm panning, I'll say, okay, I'm clicking the middle mouse. So I'm going to do my best to not bore you to death by repeating a lot of those commands. The other thing is, so this is our middle view, and that's how you rotate and zoom around your middle view. Again, play around with just kind of scrolling. If you want to test or play the game that they give you by default, just go ahead and press this play button. And you can see here now I can walk around. I can hit the space bar to jump. You can see they give us hands. If I pick up this weapon, I can shoot. I can jump. So they have a pretty nice test area. I'm hitting escape to get out of there for you to play with. And we're just going to use this as a proof of concept to build out our level. Really, I don't need a lot of this stuff in here. Like you can see, here's block 2. So if I select all of the stuff in here, this is this block. So what I might do is, as we're doing more modeling in here, I might just delete out this wall and then extend it into another courtyard area. And that's where we'll build our first house or object for world building. So this class is going to be pretty cool because you're going to really get a nice portfolio piece out of this class that hopefully you can apply for jobs and maybe even get certified as an Unreal person. Now, what we need to do is just make sure that you have some plugins installed. All right, so let's go up to the right-hand corner here where it says settings, and then click on plugins, and type in modeling at the top here, and just make sure that you have the modeling tools editor mode on, and then you have static mesh editor mode. Now what it's saying here is once you turn this on, they recommend that anything with beta plugins that you don't let that be in your final build of your game. We're just trying to learn the engine, and if we have crashes or things like that, it's just the reality of the software. So we're going to hit yes that we understand. It also says down here, you must restart the Unreal Editor for your changes to take effect. So you can hit restart now, and that'll restart everything, and then it'll load in the plugin for you. Now, before we do that, I want to make sure that we also have UV on, and a lot of these should be on by default, to be honest with you, if you have 5.1 or later. I'm using, I think, 5.3, and I think they're up to 5.4 now, and maybe by the time you're taking this class, they'll be at Unreal 6 or something. But let's go ahead and I'm going to pause the video, and I'm going to hit this Restart Now button in the bottom right-hand corner. All right, so now that we've restarted, I'm going to go ahead and close this out. Now, what was that all about? What was I having you install? Well, inside of Unreal, you have this modeling tab here. What's nice about this is we can use it to actually model or gray box out levels for our character to interact with. So here's actually our character. I'm going to hit F to focus. And let's say we want to build a very basic ramp so our character can now walk up this front part. Well, with these modeling tools, I can click on box and I could just place this here. And I could say, you know what, this box is not big enough. So I can hit accept. And don't worry about following along for now. We're going to do modeling in the next video. I just want you to sort of get an idea of this. Now that I've accepted this, what I can do is you can see there's this deform tab where I can do dynamic sculpting to this. I can smooth, I can warp, I can edit it. There's this X form, which has some nice different ways of adjusting this pivot point. There's model here where they have polygroup edit, subdivide, things like that. So for instance, if I click on polygroup edit, you can see I can click on these edges, these faces, I can move them up. I can move this out. And I can grab this edge here. I can move that down. And let's make this a little bit wider. And something like this. And now when I press play, you can see in my game here, I can now walk up this ramp I just created. Now that's a very simplistic, I'm going to hit escape to get out of the way of modeling something. It's just to model a ramp. We're going to model something a little bit more detailed. Our main goal is to build something so beautiful with grass and foliage and all this amazingness that when you go to apply for a job, you have an understanding of architecture, how to set things up. And if you are a filmmaker, you can embed this in your film. Anyway, so that's a basic project setup. I'm going to go ahead and delete that to show you that we are going to start fresh from the next video, or the next lesson rather. And yeah, so I'm happy that we have Unreal set up and we have our modeling tools set up.